you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Well, are you ready now? From the revolution for too long, your power has been taken away.
We're so official with our
Super scary.
So scary, so official. If you watch, necessity. We were drinking Pendleton while we were doing it.
I
So
saw that.
dogs and
There's
babies.
dogs like running
There's
around.
dogs and babies. Dogs and baby in the background. I already got it.
Refills?
Yeah.
I like it.
Alright. What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Happy Flexy Friday. What a Wednesday. We got Jessica Welch with us, who is phenomenal. And we'll let her introduce herself, because it's always better that way.
Oh, really?
So Jess, if you would introduce yourself a little bit, tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit of background of your story, kind of where you're coming from, your family,
All right.
just a little bit of that, and then we'll get into more questions.
Okay, sounds good. So my name is Jessica Welch, and let's see, I just turned 31.
Woo! Wait,
I
just
31 years young.
31
Like
years
when?
young. September 25th,
Oh, wow.
so a week ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy late birthday.
So far it's
31
great.
burpees too.
I did.
What'd you do it in?
What did I do with it?
Like, when was time?
Oh, I didn't time it.
Oh.
It was birthday burpees. There's a video though, I promise. Let's see. So I'm married to Eddie Welch, who is much more interesting than me. You've probably
funny.
seen him on
Guy.
social media.
He's
He's a
alright.
comedian.
He is wonderful. He's my best friend, and we've been married 9 years, which makes me seem very old, but we got married when I was 21. So we have 2 boys, so I'm a boy mom. Elijah is almost 6, and Liam is 3, and they keep me on my toes.
Liam.
So, yep.
So he's not in school.
Well, I mean, we were
Is he?
in homeschool, so everybody's
He's-
learning.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, I was thinking he was older than that for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Maybe he seems
nephew
older.
being
Yeah.
name's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my life. I mean, those are the most important parts.
Did you
of my
grow
life.
up
Yeah.
in Billings?
No, so I've lived here since we got married, so about 9 years. Was born in California, and then we moved to Polson, Montana, so up by Flathead Lake
Oh, great.
when I was little. And so my parents are pastors and church planners, so we planted a church up there. And then we lived in Hawaii for a couple years, which was pretty sweet.
What the frick? We're going to Hawaii.
No, Oahu, so Honolulu.
My gosh.
Yes, we did go to the beach a lot, but
What?
it
Oh
is
my
different to live there than vacation there.
Okay,
Sure.
so why did you go? What brought you to Hawaii to move? Like,
Well,
Wait, your parents went to Hawaii too?
My
Like,
whole
your-
family,
your
yeah.
Okay.
oh, this is before you married.
yeah, this was when I was like 3rd grade. We're going way back.
Wow.
Way back.
Yeah, so lived in Hawaii for a couple years. My brother had really bad asthma, so the climate was good for him, and my dad had a youth pastor position there.
Should move to Hawaii.
Yeah, moved to Hawaii. I hear you.
I heard there's some great CrossFit gyms there.
Yes.
Like outdoor ones. That's all the other pros.
And plus, you can learn how to surf, which is sweet.
Oh my gosh.
4 corners CrossFit.
Oh yeah.
That white man.
They're in Wyman.
Yeah.
Wyman base.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so
That's it.
then we moved to Missoula, which is where my mom's from, and I'd say that's where I grew up. That's where I went to middle school, high school, and then I went to college in Southern California, went to a Bible college,
Nice.
and that's where I met Eddie. We actually don't remember meeting, which is kind of funny.
Really?
You know, like your freshman
Yeah.
year, you just meet everyone, small
Yeah.
school, so we knew each other from like,
Do you
Yeah,
have like a
what you do.
first impression though that you can remember?
oh yeah, for sure.
What's your first impression of Eddie?
Eddie was girl crazy, so he had like a crush on a different girl every week.
So it's just like, oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, and I knew a lot about him because I
The
actually
high
dated
school
his
flirt.
roommate. So
No way.
he didn't really know much about me. He thought I was just, I don't know, an Asian nerd, which is pretty true. So,
You were a nerd.
oh yeah.
Was he a nerd?
So,
No.
really? I heard he was.
Was he a
He is
skater?
now.
Oh,
Was
He
he
was
just
a
like
skater,
a-
so
no,
yeah.
he was-
Spiky belt, sag pants, like everyone can see his underwear.
Oh,
Okay,
crazy.
Jesus.
That is awesome.
Mohawk. What else?
And you listen to metal.
Yep.
Isn't he a metalhead?
There's metal.
Yep. I did go
I
to a
think
metal
it's-
concert with him. That was very out of place.
Who was it?
Wait,
Do you know?
Destroy the Runner. They're really good, actually.
Wait, so
Like true, like screamo.
Yes.
You like metal?
Yeah.
what
My mind is
Wow.
blown right now. This interview just got so much
stereotypes?
better.
I know,
Stereotypes will ruin you.
My brother's a drummer, so we grew up,
And
listening to that,
is
and
he-
then Eddie is into
Is he a
it.
band? Is he in a band?
He's in a lot of bands.
Huh.
You like fills in for bands or something?
Well, he's just a really good drummer, so he plays in multiple bands in Missoula, so they'll do like weddings and shows and fill in, recordings, whatever.
I gotta ask you this question. Did you smoke a lot of weed in high school?
Did I?
Yeah. It's
No.
Missoula. Everybody smokes weed in Missoula.
No, I was a good kid.
Okay. Just had to ask because it's Missoula.
Pastor's kid.
That's
Come on.
right.
It's Missoula, man.
I know.
And wait,
Everybody
did
smokes
Eddie?
weed in Missoula.
Did Eddie smoke
No,
weed?
no, don't say that.
No, but he knows like probably 400 different names for it.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's
It's Missoula. You gotta,
Anyway,
you
so,
gotta
like-
sue.
He didn't really know you then, so like, what was like the first? Why did he asked you out?
Well,
Hey,
you were dating
I don't know who you are, but
Yeah, so I was dating his
His
roommate,
roommate.
and then we broke up. And then I came back to school, and I don't know. He says like, I mean, I did like lose weight and get tan or whatever, but all of a sudden he was just like, when did she get hot? You know? Like thanks. So
That's
we were in
awesome.
student leadership together, so we came back to school like on campus before everyone else. So it was like a small group of us. And then we actually did like a health and fitness seminar on campus.
Really?
We were both into working out, and
So you guys went to fitness then?
yeah, not anything like now.
Like
but,
now? Right.
So then we just kind of like bonded over that, and then we would just like do homework together a
Right.
lot. And he said his grades just kept going up every semester we were together. So
gotta keep your eye.
yeah, and he helps me not take life too seriously. So we're good pairs.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's great for that, for sure. So you would say you're more the serious person, kind of, and he's kind of.
Okay, I heard
Or-
At
that you
home,
were actually crazy funny.
I'm very funny.
That's true.
Yeah.
Is what I heard.
You gotta bring that out.
I don't know. I think it might scare people.
Which is maybe also stereotype because, like, when I first met you, I would have guessed that. Not
Right.
that you're not funny,
Oh no.
but it was like
no personality.
pretty serious and like.
Yes.
But I usually see you at 5 a.m.
That is true.
When we're
at the
lifting.
gym. I am in business mode at the gym.
Right.
I tell my friends that I'm like, if you need to like talk or like, hang out like outside of the gym, when I'm there, I'm like there to work.
all focused in,
Yeah.
which is good.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Which is why, like, when we first started going, they always felt bad, like, because I never really said hi to anybody. But I
It's
also
so
don't want to,
early.
like, I also don't want to, like, interrupt people, like, when they're
I'm
focused
in the
in.
zone. I know.
Like, in the zone, I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? How's it going? You know, it's like,
Right, and it's early. I feel like there's this unspoken thing.
Yeah.
Like the early morning, you come in, you just like don't talk.
do your work. And,
Do your work, and then afterwards, it's
Right.
kind of like, okay, now we're awake.
Plus, a lot of like the CrossFit is like time stuff, so you're in
Yeah.
a work
Yeah,
at that
that's
time.
true.
So
And if
like,
you can talk, you're probably not working hard enough.
yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's good. Good work.
All right, start us off with a question, girl.
So the question I was thinking of earlier today, I think this may be a question that a lot of maybe moms maybe would have. Like, you were into fitness before you had kids, correct? Back in college. So like, how was the adjustment and like figuring out your like recovery and getting sleep and like working out?
Almost like a
Were you into
routine.
CrossFit when you had children?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense too.
So was that not quite as important then, probably, like recovery and like how did you balance that? And maybe you didn't. Maybe you just like got through that stage,
You don't
and
remember
then
anything.
Through it all.
you know, you got more to CrossFit, and then yeah. So
What's that process?
Yeah. I think it's a really good question. I think that in every season of your life, like your fitness and your goals are different. So I didn't do CrossFit while I was pregnant. I hadn't got into it by that point, and I was mostly doing like, I don't know, some cardio and a little bit of light strength training, and then some DVDs at home. So
Yeah.
it was just like what fit that season of my life.
Right.
And then, when I was pregnant and nursing, what felt like for 4 years, my focus was on, raising my kids, having babies, prepping my body for that, and being able to nurse. And so,
Right.
and yeah, you're not getting a lot of sleep. So, I was doing like sometimes 10-minute workouts,
Yeah.
while a kid was napping and things like that.
Right,
So
right,
it
yeah.
didn't look anything like it does now.
Right.
And so I think you just have to give yourself grace for whatever season you're in to know, like, okay, what are my primary goals and what's most important, and then how does that fit for me because like what works for you is not going to work for
Sure,
somebody else.
yeah,
You know,
I
and even every
understand.
baby is different, every pregnancy is
Right,
different.
yeah.
So, and then when I started CrossFit, I started out only 3 times a week. So like now I'm in there, yes, 6 days a week, but I didn't start there. You
Right.
know, you build the baseline.
Yep.
It was like 3 classes a week, and that was like all I could do and what my body could handle, and then you just like build a baseline and go from there.
Right.
So I think sometimes people get too like gung ho and they're like, I'm gonna go every day for 5 hours, and then pretty soon you're like burnt out.
Right, exactly.
Right now,
It doesn't work for your
I'm
real
trying to
life.
go that way. I'm like,
Yeah.
if I want to do something, I'm just
Just
like,
all in.
do it. Then I just like,
Right.
But then you fall
not even,
off,
not
right?
necessarily with fitness, just anything.
Just life.
And I just burn out.
Quit.
So then when did you start CrossFit?
I started CrossFit, so Liam was about a year
She's a
old.
crazy good CrossFit athlete, by the way.
Thank you. I have a long ways to go, but it has been a good journey.
I'm sure you've come a long ways.
Yeah.
So.
When I started, I couldn't even do a pull-up, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So,
How many can you do now?
I think I did like 16 strict the other day.
16 strict?
Yeah.
Really? From not being able to do one to 16 strict.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But how long did it take you to do that though? You said,
Well,
when did you
yeah.
start?
I mean, it's been about 2 years
okay,
That's
of like
impressive.
being
2
dedicated.
years.
So.
that's awesome.
I was still nursing Liam when I started CrossFit, and
Right.
I had lost all the baby weight, but I had like 0 muscle, 0
Yeah.
endurance. Like I was running like I don't know 11:30 miles, like
Yep.
slow, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it just completely changed my outlook on fitness, my goals, and really my life too.
Yeah.
Right. Because it affects all of your life.
Yeah.
Not just, yeah.
It's a lifestyle change.
So how did that start, CrossFit? Like, was it Talos, or how did you get connected to the group and community there?
Yeah, so I've known Dolan and Michelle for a long time now, probably 8 or 9 years.
Oh, well.
Okay.
And Dolan actually helped me get my personal training certification back at Granite Health and Fitness.
Oh, really? Okay, so you PT'd there for a little bit.
Yep, a little bit, and then got pregnant, so then I didn't do anything for
Sure.
a while. And then they started Talos, and I had another friend named Holly that had started working out there after she had her baby, and she was
Yeah.
loving it and losing weight, and she was like never into fitness, and all of a sudden she was like loving it, and I was like, that's awesome. So she's like, come do a class. I'm like, all right.
Huh.
So I remember I came, and first day, and Dolan gave me a hug, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, and did the first workout, and it was something with like kettlebells and running,
Right.
and like I did okay, like, and then I got in my car and I felt like I was gonna die. So I still remember like just
awesome.
laying on my steering wheel,
The
like
first.
I'm gonna throw up. Like I can't drive home. Like it was probably 20, 30 minutes. Just
Oh,
like
man.
I felt
Oh
so
my
terrible.
gosh.
So I always tell people like just remember, first few days is rough, and then the second day,
Did you go back the next day?
I went back a few days later.
2 days later.
I got pinned under like 65-pound front squat, like which is not a lot. And now I can front squat like almost 200 pounds. So it's like
Sick.
it's
Wow.
just cool to
What a
see
growth.
like the growth and progress. And I love goals and I love like achieving them. So it's just been super awesome for that.
That's
Our work
crazy.
pays off.
Yeah.
Did you not know how to like throw the weight forward at that point? You
Yeah, I didn't know
squat?
anything. I didn't know how to.
So like it landed on you?
No, I just got stuck and Dolan came and rescued me.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
Mhm.
And so then Eddie started going there too then,
Yep.
at that same time?
Yeah, Eddie, so, well, it was maybe like a month later or something. I was telling him about it, and he was like, whatever. Then he showed up at one of the 5:30 a.m. classes, and Seth was coaching, and he hooked him. It was like LSATs or something, and he's like, Seth showed me how to do it, and it's awesome, I'm signing up. And like, both of us, it was like literally like the first day, we were just like, drank the Kool-Aid, and we're like, we're going.
That's
We're going.
And we had wanted to do CrossFit for a long time. It just
Yeah.
kind of ended up working out.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you guys know Seth before Talos? Granted, maybe.
Kind of, yeah. So I'd met him. I'd seen him at Granite. I just thought he was a big meathead.
He was.
He was.
Him
He
and
is,
Dolan
yeah.
was.
Him and Dolan.
Him and Dolan. So I just knew him as like Dolan's workout partner. And I remember
Yeah.
when I got pregnant, like I saw him at Granite, and he was like, "Congratulations!" And he was like super nice about it. And I just remember being like surprised, like, "Oh,
You're a nice person.
you're actually really nice."
What?
But yeah, we didn't
That's awesome.
we didn't know Seth and Autumn super well, and now they're like some of our best friends.
Right. They're great people. Love those.
Yes.
Love those people. What was one of your dreams as a little girl, teenager? Like what is something that you always wanted to be? always like, is what you're doing now what you thought you'd be doing when you were in high school or as a little girl?
That's a good question. No. If you would have told me that I would be making a career out of fitness, I would have laughed at you because I was a huge nerd. I mean, it helps that I'm Asian too. Like, play the piano, straight A's. Like, I didn't do any sports in high school.
That's insane.
Yeah, I just never thought of myself as being athletic or an athlete. And so that's kind of been a cool transformation to see. I always wanted to own my own business, so I guess like that part of it. But yeah, I thought I was gonna be like a teacher or a missionary
That's
or
crazy.
anything other than.
What kind of business did you want to start?
So when I was really little, I would play that I had a business called Cheap and Casual for clothing.
Nice.
Yeah, and the tagline was just the way we like it. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is when I'm
You
like,
tried that?
I don't know, probably like 6 or 7, and I would like play with like my grandma's office stuff and like take inventory, and I'm telling you, like huge nerd. That was
Yeah,
like,
but at 6 and 7 to have like an entrepreneurial job like that is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I
that's,
guess, I don't know, it's funny. It's funny
I don't
now.
really know if that's nerdy. Did you have big glasses?
I never wore glasses,
Nice.
but I feel like
Guess
I'm
you did.
destined to at some point.
yeah, I don't know.
Never had braces either. I wanted them because all my friends had them, and now I'm like, oh.
So were you truly a nerd? Like that's, you know what I mean?
No, I was. Like, I was so quiet.
Did you have pens in your pocket? I guess you didn't really have.
I liked wearing rings. Does that count?
Yeah, it could count, maybe.
I never
I
really
feel
had
like
any
the
friends like
braces
my
and the
freshman
big
year of high
glasses
school.
kind of like set something.
I
Ponytail.
had a perm, yeah.
Huh.
Stereotypes.
That did not have good fashion sense. Not good at sports. Like,
I guess those
I
things.
get like picked first, just like you're doing a school project. But then if it was like
Anything
kickball,
athletic.
it's like, nah,
Got it.
no.
That might classify as nerd.
Yeah. I
What
think
did you study in college?
so I have a bachelor's in biblical studies,
Nice.
and then I did a double minor in music and cross-cultural studies.
So even in college, did you think you would be like a missionary or something?
Yeah.
That was kind of your plan.
Yeah. I thought I'd be either like an English teacher or a missionary, something like
Even
that.
in college,
Yeah.
which was only how long ago?
Well, 10 years now, but
10 years. It's still not that long ago to think they'd be doing something, and all of a sudden you're doing something different.
yeah, totally different.
Do you regret anything?
No.
Love that. That's
Do you ever think like in the future that like God would call you guys at all like to missions or anything like that? Or?
I don't know. That's always the joke of like in Bible college, like if you're dating a girl that's called to missions, it's like, no.
Stay here.
My parents met as missionaries, so like that's always been a part of my story and like my heart for the world. I know I'll be involved more with it when my kids are older.
Yeah.
I got to go to the Philippines this last year, and that was amazing.
That's awesome.
So I love probably more the idea of like short-term
Yeah.
missions, but to a place that you're going back and keeping relationship, not
Yeah.
just like hopping around, where it's more like
Yeah.
almost like
Right.
tourism.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think that will be a part of the future, and if CrossFit intersects that,
Sure.
that'd be sweet.
Sure.
I've talked to some of my friends in the Philippines about like, you know, just doing, they use basketball sometimes just to like outreach and get to know people, and like, let's use CrossFit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be cool.
We even like, I mean, I think the idea of missions is like, oh, it's overseas somewhere, right? But like, I mean, even right, you know, where we're at right now, like, we're missionaries, right?
Yep.
So, there you go.
Yeah, that's the truth.
We're all missionaries.
Hey.
Love it.
Wait, so is Philippines kind of like, kind of has your heart? Or is,
I mean, Asia probably, because I'm Asian. My
Right.
dad was born in Seoul, Korea, so I'm half Korean.
okay,
So,
rad.
yeah, and just, I guess a lot of times your heart's where you visited.
Sure.
So the Philippines, I've been to like Thailand and Southeast Asia, so.
I love Thailand.
Me too.
It's dope.
It's
Do you
sweet.
know Asian language?
I wish. No, just English.
Huh.
A little bit of Spanish.
What part of Thailand have you been?
Bangkok
Oh,
and
Cities.
up towards the north, like in the hills, Chiang Mai.
Yeah. Have you been there?
Yeah,
Oh, I have friends that live there.
yeah,
Well, they did, not anymore because there's some gnarly stuff going on.
yeah. And been to Malaysia a couple times.
Chiang Mai is awesome. Which really, I remember going there, and it was more like we were going to China to do some stuff, and then, but we just like it was like we were just taking some recovery days, which were dirt bikes in the mountains for like hours. Like we would just like go in, it was like, all right, let's go get lost, and we figure out how to get back out. It was so fun. And school was just there. Gosh,
Sounds like an
That's what Hannah, I
adventure.
need to take her back, or take her there, because it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's cool. They also, like, the family started a coffee shop there for college students,
Oh, nice, yeah.
like, so they can minister to them. It was
A lot of
cool.
college
Really
students.
cool. So,
Love it.
wild. I had a question, but now I kind of forget what it was.
Must have been really good.
Yeah, it was super good. It was about fitness. Shoot.
We got Seth's question.
Oh yeah, we can ask that question because mine will come back.
All right, so we got a question off of Instagram.
Seth, well done. The one and only.
Seth, wild pill.
Wow, too. That's right.
All right, where's that?
You want me to pull it up?
All right, got it.
Gotta be
All
prepared.
right, so question from Seth. He wants to know, does your motivation come from results of fitness or the process of the results?
It's my
That's
motivation.
kind of so does your motivation, so I guess
Does it
your
come from the
motivation
process?
for fitness come from results or from the process of those?
Of the results.
That's a good question. I think it can be both.
Yeah.
I think goals can be very motivating. Like
Sure.
you set something that you can't yet do and you want to achieve it, and whether that's a competition or
Right.
a lift or a skill or something in life you want to achieve. So I think that can be very motivating, especially depending on your personality. Like if you're an achiever, that just like fuels your fire and like, gets you out of bed every day. Just having that passion.
Is that kind of how you are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy the process? Like, obviously not every morning at 5 a.m. Nobody enjoys every morning. But like, do you enjoy the workouts? Do you enjoy the hard work? Do you enjoy the sweat, the tears, like everything that goes into it? Or is
Yeah.
it more of just, I just love to see results?
Yeah.
Or is it, and you said it was kind of both, but
It's both, yeah, but absolutely, like you have to love the process. Like if you don't, the end goal is not enough to keep you going on those days where you're like,
Right.
oh, I'm tired and beat up and
right?
feel bad about myself or whatever. So I think you have to love the process, and I think if you do, like it makes the achievements more meaningful.
Sure. Yeah.
And I've
nice,
found
yeah.
that even with like, when you get to a competition, it's like, it's over pretty quick, right?
Right,
Like
right.
a few events and you're done and then you're like, wow, like crazy. But you look back on the journey of like the ups and downs and setbacks and failures and successes and like the people you did it alongside
Yeah.
and the relationships. And I think at the end of the day, like it has to be like not just the process itself, but like who you're becoming in
Yeah.
the process. Like
Mm.
how it's refining your character. Like am I becoming more
Oh,
of like
sure.
a patient person? Am I becoming someone that can endure hard things? Am I becoming someone that like lifts others up when they fall
Yeah.
down? Like, so I think it has to be like, who am I becoming in the
Yeah.
process? And absolutely, you have to love it
Right.
and embrace it and be ready for it. The wild ride that it is.
Right. Because I would even say, like, if you guys would agree, like, even anything that somebody's doing in life, their job, their business that they're starting, like, if you don't love the process, you're probably burnt out. And that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, and that goes with literally anything that you're doing.
yeah,
If you're starting a coffee shop, which we're at, and you don't even like coffee, and you hate the process, like, it's probably gonna burn out.
yeah.
So I think that's key.
Yeah. I think the emotions will fuel you for a little while, but you need
Sure,
to dig deeper than
because it's
that.
new. You're excited.
Yeah.
You know, like, who doesn't like new stuff?
Yeah,
I do.
exactly.
I freaking love new stuff.
Right. And in the beginning of something like CrossFit or whatever, you see a lot of progress, like
Yeah.
big leaps and
True.
bounds. And then as you get farther, it's like you have to fight harder for those like PRs and
Yeah.
breakthroughs.
That's true. I actually have a fear. I have a fear of plateauing. I have a huge fear of plateauing because it's so exciting to hit PRs, which has happened a lot since I started CrossFit. And I have a big fear of like, I'm just gonna plateau and I'm not gonna see any more PRs and it's gonna be like super lame.
And then you
And
just decline the rest of your life.
yeah, I have a big fear of that. Anyway,
I think like there's obviously validity to that, but then
Sure.
you can also set different goals or new goals.
right. It's something else. Or within CrossFit,
Yeah.
but still.
I thought a question back when you were talking about Seth's question of the process or the results and personality tests. Have you ever taken any at all? Enneagram?
We're going into
You know what number?
We're going to the Enneagram right now.
Yes. we
Oh
are.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't
Come on,
believe
it's
No,
interesting.
I feel like
I can't believe we're doing this. I'm leaving.
Good. That's because you're number one and you don't.
You don't like to be put in a box? Is that
No. Yes, I understand that, but I don't.
Are you more creative type then?
Yeah, which I don't even know what number that is. I think I did take the
Your
Enneagram
number's just
test.
coming out really hot right now.
I know. I took the Enneagram test one time and I forget what the number was, but I just hate how it's like, I hate how people use it as like, oh, I'm this, so it's like an
That's
excuse.
what I said. You don't use it like that.
It's a tool.
It's just a
But
tool.
even then, it's just
exactly.
like-
a tool.
But I feel like it's like, I see it like this. I see it like the Left Behind series. Once you watch it, you can't get out of your head when you read Revelations. So once you hear your number, you're always like just reminded of what you are, even if you like
No.
don't put yourself in
See,
a box.
I take it and I'm always like, oh, that's my number, and I'm always trying to not be that.
Be that number.
Be
If that
something
makes sense.
else.
Or like be
Like
the healthy
grow.
of that number.
Yeah, grow in that. Huh.
You know what I mean? That's how I interpret it.
Anyway, continue with the
Anyway.
question. Well,
Well, I
let's
haven't, I
slide.
haven't actually taken it. Eddie just
Okay.
took it, and I feel like everybody has. My guess is achiever. I definitely have those tendencies. We just did Strengths Quest. Is that right? Yeah. With the coaches at Talos. That was kind of fun to see like your top 5. And one of mine was actually competitive. Shocker.
I see that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
what's interesting is like I always thought of that as a weakness. I'm like, oh.
Being competitive?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was a bad thing.
Did you watch our last episode? Was it last episode?
Yeah.
2 episodes ago.
No, I need to.
Last year's Fear. You need to watch it because we talk about competition.
Yeah.
It's super good.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, I
Check it
totally
out.
thought it was a bad thing, which it can be, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So,
Mine
anyways,
too.
that was kind of interesting. And I was like, oh, no wonder I like CrossFit.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's why I like CrossFit.
Yeah.
Because it
It's
is.
part of it.
Because like just traditional bodybuilding, like you really can't get that competitive. I mean, you can. Like, oh yeah, I got my bench is 300 pounds, and you know, it's like, but like.
Well, like bodybuilding is like about aesthetics and how you look.
Right.
And
It's all
especially
about
for
physique.
like females, like I love CrossFit for that because it's like, no, it's about like, I want to hit this weight.
Yeah.
I want to learn this skill. I want to beat my time. It's not like I need to weigh this amount, you know?
Right.
It's functional. I mean, being able to do functional
I
movements.
mean, you never know when you're going to have to
Bodybuilding,
snatch, you know?
You never know.
Yeah. I mean, but anyway, I mean, it's the buddy bottle. So they
Buddy bottle.
Yeah, buddy bottle.
Wait, how?
This is our new product.
Okay, actually, this is gonna be a question. Would you buy this?
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
Give it a chance.
You gotta hear this out.
All right,
Elevator
commercial
pitch.
break.
Elevator pitch.
Commercial break. Go.
Buddy bottle. So, would you pay? What does it cost to get a personal trainer for an hour? 50 bucks.
Like, yeah.
50 bucks. Okay. Would you pay 30 bucks for the buddy bottle? What it is you literally pay for somebody to work out with you and to push you. Not a personal trainer because it's cheaper than that.
They do the workout.
They're gonna do the workout with you, but they're always gonna be a little bit better than you.
Faster time.
To push your competitive side to get better, so you don't slack off.
I mean,
in the
I
gym.
already have that for free. Training partners, right?
Well,
Exactly. That's what it is.
Somebody that don't have
Somebody that doesn't have
it's
that.
like all alone, like just don't have
Total
good
loner.
friends, like
It doesn't know how to make
CrossFit
friends.
gym. If you don't have a CrossFit gym,
So,
go
like,
to
can I
CrossFit.
get paid to be one of these people?
Well,
I know, right?
See,
No,
that's what
I
I'm
would
saying.
do that. I would have someone pay me to be their partner.
Right.
I'm not gonna pay.
You're not.
someone.
You don't need it because you have. But like,
Well, I
I'm
do.
thinking somebody that let's say if you were all like you didn't have any friends and you didn't go to a CrossFit gym, you just did home workouts. Man, it'd be really nice if I could call somebody and they'd be at my house to push me. Because the results go up. I'm convinced that your results go up when you have somebody to work out with you because you go harder a lot of times.
Yeah.
Except unless you're Matt Frazier, you just care.
Right.
Pretty much don't.
The rower in his basement. He's
Right.
like,
You work out all the time by himself.
Yeah.
Those are a few.
Anyway, it's still in the works, but
yeah. Okay.
Flexy Bros Buddy Bottle service. You go online, type it in, buy a Buddy Bottle for a month.
Workout escort service.
Absolutely, and we'll show up
It's not
wherever.
creepy at all.
No, we'll go to the Y. We'll go to the we'll go anywhere. We'll go to your fit. Whatever. We'll show
that's
up.
the thing
work
too.
out
We're
with
gonna have to work on it and manufacture it so it can be.
you. So it's not creepy.
Well, yeah,
What
that,
if
but
they
not.
pay you to
I
come
mean,
like swim and then you like are way worse than they are?
that's the thing. We gotta design
Well,
it. That it's not
see-
just us. If we can like brand something and.
It'll be like a whole company. We'll have swimmers. We'll have weightlifters and Olympic
Oh, yeah, it's
lifters.
gonna go.
We'll have CrossFitters. We'll have bodybuilders. We'll have
I like it.
That's
It's like a menu. You can just swipe.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it can be like
Yeah.
another menu, like you're at a restaurant.
Right.
Like, oh, what do I want?
And
Yeah.
their skill
Like
level.
body
How many
pictures.
stars?
How many stars? What? How good are you? How good are you? Because you don't want them to be too good. You're just like.
Like
I can't
swimming
even-
with
I don't
Michael
even-
Phelps.
Yeah, I don't even have a
Yeah.
chance. So why are you even doing it? You know?
Yeah, that actually makes it worse.
That's how Noah feels when he's with me.
Yeah,
He's just
exactly.
like, can't do anything against me. You know what I'm saying?
You guys don't have any like competitiveness between you, do you?
Well, no, well, like, there is competitiveness, but like, since I'm so much better, he just gets like bummed out that he can't
Yeah,
beat me.
that must be hard.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
You know, it's just
Humility.
Yeah.
It's good for us.
Humbleness.
That is one of my Enneagram numbers. is Humbleness.
Humbleness.
Very-
I'm an extraordinary
Yeah.
humble.
I'm the most humble guy
In all the
in the
world.
gym. Yeah.
Anyway, I have another question.
Yeah.
Who inspires you? Do you have somebody that inspires you?
Or maybe even someone in the past, or like someone you looked up to.
Can't say Jesus.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
hopefully he's still, well, of course. Yes, Jesus.
Like, and maybe you don't have any. I'm sure there's
I
some.
mean,
Like a
I think
mentor to somebody
There's
that
a lot
like,
of people.
just-
I guess it depends like what area.
Yeah. And your fitness.
In my fitness?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Is there anybody that inspires you? Maybe you don't even know. It's just like, man, Matt Frazier inspires me. You know,
Yeah.
like that everything. What's just like
Hunter.
hashtag?
Peter McIntyre.
McIntyre? For you?
Yeah, his mullet. It's kinda-
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm starting to eat honey now, so
Oh my gosh.
my bagels every morning.
Let's see. In fitness, I think there's a lot of people. I would say, like, Eddie inspires me because of how he, like, encourages me and
Yeah.
is always supporting me and, like, yes, go for those goals, do it. Like,
So like
You
the
know,
best supporter in your
yeah.
fitness gym? I love that.
That's awesome.
he is. And,
Power
like, he
couple.
puts up with a lot. Like, there should be a support group for, like, spouses
Powder
of
queen.
competitive, like, CrossFit people, Powder Queen. But, like, a lot of people don't know
Hi,
this,
I'm
but
Eddie. My wife's.
the Queen of Powders. We actually fight about it because I'm like, Powder Queen, and he's like, no, it's Queen of Powders. And I'm like, well, it's my thing. He's like, well, I made it up. So we can fight over
You
which
should change your
hashtag.
Instagram name to Powder Queen or Queen Powders.
Right, which one is
Yes.
it though? See?
See, I don't want to pick sides.
Yeah,
Staying
but-
out there.
Hashtag.
I'm staying out
the
of it.
hashtag in there.
Yeah.
Staying out there.
So we just do both. But a lot of times when I'm at the gym, he's at home cleaning the house, watching the kids. Trophy husband.
What a guy.
And he listens to me complain when I'm like counting macros and like weighing grains of rice, and I'm like, I'm fat. Yeah, he's very supportive. He'll like
What a
give me
guy.
backgrounds when I'm
Awesome.
sore and like listen to me ad nauseum talk about like my butterfly pull-ups and all this stuff. So he definitely inspires me. I'd say my training partners inspire me too. Like Anna, I'm always chasing her, and Ro, like they're girls that have been athletes their whole life, and so I'm always chasing them. And Luke is my training partner. He inspires me in a very like a specific way of like whenever I don't feel like I'm gonna do something or
Sure.
not gonna do good, he's just like very no nonsense. Like, nope, you will do that.
Right. He doesn't take bull crap. He's always there every morning.
Yep,
You know?
he's really consistent. Seth has been a huge inspiration to me. He kind of took me in when I first started CrossFit. I actually hurt my back and I had to like not do any classes or any
Really?
CrossFit for like 2 months.
So, this isn't your first, which we'll talk about her injury now later. But that wasn't your first injury. You've had some in the past.
Yeah, so I herniated a disc in my back and like hurt my SI joint like a few months into doing CrossFit. And it's not CrossFit's fault. It was imbalances
Right.
and weaknesses that I had.
Yep.
And movement patterns that I needed to fix. So I would come in and like be in the corner doing the belt squat and like boring rehab stuff, and he kind of, I don't have any idea why, but like kind of paid attention to me and would like ask me how I was going or different things, and slowly started pulling me into classes and like helping me modify stuff for my injuries. And,
Sure.
and then
So you didn't start doing the classes when you first went.
I did, but then I hurt myself.
So then, okay, I got you.
So then I just had to do my own thing. And then he kind of pulled me back in and like saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I
Sure.
never, even when I first started like the classes, I never thought like, oh, I'd like to compete or RX or, you know, any of these
Huh.
things. And he really pushed me and encouraged me to like see myself as an athlete, and was always like pushing me to like try new things and basically taught me most things I know, like all the skills, you know, breaking down like a ring muscle up. Like we did just swings on the rings for like months, and then we progressed to like
That's crazy.
pulls, and then we
Love
progressed
it.
to turnovers, and like eventually, you know, was like got my first one, and
That's awesome.
now I kind of have to start that process over. But
Right.
yeah, so I think
Love that.
Eddie's an inspiration to me and a motivator. I'd say my training partners, and
Yep.
and then Seth is a coach and training partner.
Right.
And then Dolan as well, like just seeing the community that he and Michelle created at Talos
It's fantastic.
inspires me to
Yep.
Yeah.
not just try to get fit, but to try to like do it in a way that inspires other people and is always bringing people
Yeah.
in. And they have such a heart for like the people on the outside. And like
Right.
I was that person. Like I was hurt. I wasn't great at CrossFit. Like I was just kind of coming in on my own, and like that heart of like drawing people in. And I think that's the strength of our gym is like
Yeah.
you don't have to come in here and be like an elite athlete to
Right.
be cool. You know, like
Right.
we love you just where you are. So
Which is an amazing thing to have because it really like it meet people where they're at,
yeah,
and which is truly a true sign of wanting to help people.
Yeah.
Because that's really what fitness is about: is growth, being healthier, being able to do stuff that you can't do now. You know, like talking with our brother the other several months ago now, but it was like he wants to be able to play with his son and be active and climb, you know, be able to do that stuff.
your quality of life.
Which you like, if he doesn't go and do fitness and go to the gym, whatever, he's not gonna be able to. You know what I mean? Like quality of life, which is huge
Yeah.
to see that in people for Dolan and Michelle. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for yourself, to see that in people as a coach,
Yeah, now to get to do that
Yeah.
in turn is
Yeah.
which
really
is
cool.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I agree
it's
with it.
amazing.
Really awesome.
Should we talk about the injury?
That injury, sure.
That injury. Okay. Tell us about the injury. Tell them about the injury, and then we'll kind of. I want to know how you're feeling with the injury happening right before the Open.
Yeah, great timing.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah, so a week ago today, I had done like a long workout and just thought it would be a good time to practice ring muscle ups, which maybe hindsight, not the best time. So I went to do one, and on my first one, like one of my rings slipped out, and so
It was your first one.
yeah, it wasn't
really?
like I was like going for like
Halfway
a max
in,
set.
really?
Yeah, just my first one. Yeah. Probably should have warmed up more, but yeah. So like one of the rings went, and I fell through and twisted my arm around backwards, and basically all my body weight came down on there, and yeah, it was very painful. Kind of rolled around on the ground, you know, like after a walk.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. Where like everything hurts and I'm dying.
Right.
So then, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
so you go through all the feelings, like you feel stupid because you hurt yourself,
Right.
and like you're like, I should be able to do that, like,
Yep.
and so you go through that. Then you go through like, how bad is it? Like I couldn't lift my arm for a couple days, and it was
Oh my
very
gosh.
painful. So I'm like, did I tear my rotator cuff? Do I need surgery? Is this the end of my CrossFit career? Is this the end of my life? Like,
Everything is
does
ruined.
anyone love me anymore? So you kind of go, you know,
Yeah.
go through that, and then denial of like, nope, it'll be fine tomorrow. Like I'll be back doing muscle ups tomorrow. And then you
Right.
wake up and you're like, nope, need help getting dressed.
Yep.
And so then it's kind of like, okay, so where are we at?
Yep.
So going to physical therapy, and you know it's hard to assess in like the first acute phase of an injury because it's just everything's painful and weak and
Right.
all of that. So I did strain my rotator cuff pretty good. Thankfully it is not torn. I don't need surgery, so this
Yeah.
is good news. It is a bummer going into the Open. I've had to kind of process that and
Yeah.
like let myself feel upset about it and frustrated
Right.
because I mean like you guys know like we train all year for this,
Yeah.
so it's like
This is it.
2 hours a day, like 6 days a week, like I'm
Part
busting
of the
my butt
pinnacle
in
of
there.
CrossFit. Yeah.
And like the hardest thing for me is like I just want my hard work to show. Like that's really what it's about for
Right.
me. It's like I just want it to show, and then to be like injured, like you feel left out because
Yep.
it's like it's a huge community thing. Like literally everything on social media, it's like
Yeah.
CrossFit.
Everybody.
And I think it's frustrating too because I'm like there's so many people that don't take their fitness or CrossFit seriously until like
Yeah.
right before the Open, and all of a sudden they're like all in, and I'm like I've been doing this all
All
year.
year.
All year.
And now I can't even
like hard work
do
pays
a
off.
push-up.
Yeah.
So it's that frustration, and so then you just have to like reframe it like, okay, this is a negative thing that happened. So what's the good in it? Learning a lot about the shoulder and the muscles.
Right.
I'm going to fix, imbalances and weaknesses and come back stronger. And I've seen that from when I did my rehab with my back, and I think it builds character in you too, because
Absolutely.
it kind of strips away like, okay, like what are the things that I find my identity in externally? Like, is it in working out? Is it in being good at CrossFit? Is it like, is who I am tied to like my performance, or is it like, is there something deeper that's a value? And so you gotta go, okay, so what if I can't do CrossFit anymore? I survived, 28 years like without it. And
Right.
so I'm not there, which is good.
Right.
And I'm kind of in the rehab phase, so I don't get to do the fun stuff I love doing.
Right.
I love gymnastics, I love the barbell, so that's a bummer.
So you won't be doing the open.
Well, it
Is that the
depends.
plan?
I mean,
Is
if
it-
it's all
Is it
legs.
still depending?
Yeah, I didn't sign up for it.
I guess you can scale it, they say.
Yeah, I will do my own version.
Yeah.
And still
Adaptive
do it.
athlete.
Which
Yeah.
you can.
And do it with everybody on Friday type thing. Still, or-
Yeah. So at first I was just like, you feel sorry for yourself. I'm like, I'm not going. Like, I can't do
Everything
this.
sucks.
But I will be there, and I will cheer everybody on, and then
Yeah.
I will do my own version of it, and it'll be
Okay.
great, and we'll all learn from it. And the biggest thing for me is like, it's still competition season, so not just the open, but
Sure.
I'm signed up for 1 in 2 weeks in Bozeman, Hypoxia and Butte, December.
December.
You guys will be there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
And that's a big one. And then Granite Games in the spring. So
Yeah.
really I have to be smart
Yeah.
and be patient. I'm also good at the patient part.
Sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
So you just have to, like, again, give yourself grace, and I'm going to try to do my best to be, like, really diligent about rehab.
Recover
And
for
then
those competitions. Yeah.
We'll make a decision about, the competition in a couple weeks right beforehand.
Yeah. What is one of the key, maybe you're still in that process of going through something that's frustrating? Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
what is the steps that you go through or have gone through and are going through? And one of the biggest key things that you would suggest that would help maybe somebody else that's going through something like this?
Yeah.
Because it is. It's so frustrating.
It's so
Like like you said, you worked all year for
Yeah.
one pinnacle moment,
it's something silly. Yeah.
and then
So
all of a sudden you can't do that thing.
yeah. Yeah.
Which is so frustrating. But like, what is? Maybe you haven't figured out that one thing yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't think it's like super linear to where it's like, you just better and better and better every day. It's like
Right.
very up and down and back and forth.
Yeah.
You just have to be prepared for that. But I think the biggest thing is like, you got to rethink your priorities. Like, what is most important?
yeah,
Like, okay, like Jesus,
Right.
right? He still loves me, even if my arm is hurt.
right.
My family, like, I gotta love them.
Yeah,
And then fitness. So it has to be in that order. And, if you're gonna do a sport, there's gonna be risks, and you could get hurt, and you have to make the best of it. But I think it's just like, also having people around you that can bring you back to like, okay, the world is not ending.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
we've been through this before. So having those voices in your life, and then I think having practical help from coaches, physical therapists, training partners to help you train around it. Because I think the biggest thing, especially if you're an athlete or used to being active, is like, you'll get super depressed if you just stop.
Oh yeah.
Right?
so true.
You can't. So you got to get back in there. Like, I was in there the next morning, like doing legs,
Yeah, something.
So just doing what you can do and trying to focus on what you can control, which is pretty much just your attitude and your effort
Right.
that you put into getting better,
Right.
and then your priorities. But yeah,
Identity.
and just knowing you're gonna have those
Yeah.
bad days too, where it's like it's okay to be mad. You just can't stay there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super helpful.
Yeah, you gotta let it out.
I wanted to just like lay in bed and eat candy, but I didn't.
Right.
That's fair.
Sounds like a good time.
I mean, when I got injured, I didn't go the next day. I think it took like a whole week off. I was just like, this is stupid.
And it's okay
So-
if you need to do that. But, yeah.
Don't stay there.
Don't.
That's a big thing.
That's good.
Which is like anything, when you're
Yeah.
frustrated, don't stay frustrated. But still, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it
It
is.
super sucks. Did you do the open last year? signed up for it and everything?
Mhm.
Do you know what you placed?
Like 11 million. I don't know. I know it was a huge improvement from like my first year and my
Right.
second year.
So I was curious.
What about like Montana? Do they have that listing?
You know, I could look it up.
Yeah.
It'd probably make me sad now, but I don't know. Like, I think what's frustrating is I think I would have done really well this year.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I
The last
guarantee
two
it.
were my like growth years, and like I was like, this is my year to be like top 20 or something.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I do know that Eddie and I were like neck and neck in like the Billings Open, so that was kind of fun.
Oh, really?
We were, like, right
Wait,
next
the
to each
building's
other.
open? What do you mean?
So like you can look at how you place
Within your
people
city?
who do
Oh, really? Oh, that's kind of cool. No, I'm a little more about it. I'm not doing it. It's kind of fun.
So last year you did the Open at Billings or not Taylor's?
Yep,
Or,
Eddie loves.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just in general, you can look at where you place
Oh.
within people at
Yeah,
buildings.
in the app. Yeah, I actually
That's kinda
did
cool
one
for
of
the
the
city.
workouts in the Philippines because it was when I was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I dropped it.
That's awesome.
It was sweet. It was very hot.
Legit. Do you have to video?
So
Unless you know you're gonna be like
yeah, not
in the top
really.
20.
I didn't think they're gonna be calling me. for
Because
this
the
video.
is it top 20 or top 10 that go straight to the games?
I don't know with all the restructuring, but yeah, it's something like that. And maybe the top 10 men and top 10 women.
Yeah, that would make sense. Which would be 20.
Although maybe now you just have to win the Open to make it. I don't know.
Just one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's
Who won
different.
the last year, do you know? Did Matt Frazier win it last year? I think he did.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No?
A lot of times it's
Well, but
it's
probably
not
not
who
all
you'd
the-
expect that
Probably
actually
not all
wins
the
the
Open.
Open.
No, right. I know he won some.
Probably some.
Rich Froning won some, I thought, too.
I know he won on accident once.
That's funny.
He won what?
He won the Open on accident. He didn't want to be like peaking yet.
Oh, I did remember that. Yeah.
Dang it.
That's why he
Here's
went
what
to the
happened to me.
games.
Like
My warm
Darn
up
it.
is like a win, huh?
I got first place and I wasn't trying to.
That's
We actually did win the games that year, I guess. Wasn't that his first year going in?
I don't think so.
When he won the
I
Open?
think he won the Open and won the games. He just wins a lot.
He does. He's kind of frustrated.
Yeah,
He's
but
an
he
animal.
puts in that work, so
Hey, he does.
Yeah. Like I said, it's motivation.
yeah.
Better.
I think I went through all my questions.
Yeah, we should definitely wrap it up here soon, but yeah, more another question.
Oh, I think that's it. I went through them all.
It's been super awesome, super fun.
Yeah, thank you guys. I love everything you're doing and
Yeah.
seeing you guys in the gym
Oh.
working hard.
Well, I wanted to ask about the whole My Faith Fitness
Oh.
page.
Yeah!
You haven't
Yeah.
checked her out. What is it called?
Your faith, your fitness.
Your Faith, Your Fitness.
Check it out on Instagram,
Instagram
and
and
Facebook.
Facebook.
Right?
Instagram,
And website.
Facebook.
Do you have a website?
Not yet. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
And you are, what do you call the clothing brand?
Oh, Zaya
You're a rep-
Activewear.
You're a rep for
Yes, I
them.
am.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
So,
Your faith,
why
your
did that
fitness.
start? How did that start? Like,
Like the clothes or the everything?
yeah, what the
Your
page?
faith, your fitness.
Your faith.
A business. It's a business.
Yeah, I guess so. I think of it more as like an online community. So
Yeah.
just like it's targeted toward women, but I've actually helped guys too. But it's just like about being a place that inspires and educates and motivates people to be like the healthiest versions of themselves. So spiritually, emotionally, physically. So talk about nutrition, working out, talk about our faith. And it's all about what works for you in your season of life. So that's why it's your faith, your fitness.
Yeah.
And then I tried Zaya Activewear, loved it, and started selling that. And I donate 10% of any commission to kid sponsorships in the Philippines.
Really?
So it's
That's
kind
pretty
of,
dope.
it's really just tied in like everything that, you know, God's placed in me,
Yeah.
and just kind of a natural overflow of like who I am, like my passions in life, and wanting to help other people. And that's
You want to
Yeah.
help kids in the Philippines?
buy some clothes.
Buy some clothes
Yeah.
from Jess. Has it been going pretty well?
Yeah.
What's it like?
I mean, I'm not really good at sales,
Sure.
but I knew that going into it.
Well, I'm not either.
But I like wearing workout clothes,
Yeah,
so I'm
that'd
like,
be
well, at
nice.
least I'll get. Yeah, I know.
Right? Is it really good?
I
What's up?
know. He should sell it.
You should. I see him wearing those and he sells
Should
them.
get just
Yes.
models.
Just sells them by wearing them.
He
I
put
saw
him
him
on
wearing
all my
them.
clothes.
When did they
Wait,
see
you
yesterday
model your
morning?
clothes?
Oh yeah.
And I saw him
Yeah,
wearing
he wears my
shorts.
clothes.
That's fun.
And I was like, it's a good
You
choice.
need a pair. The Blue Legend shorts.
Black, I think they were.
Oh, okay.
He's wearing black. Were they yours?
No. But we have black ones. We just got black ones.
I think he was wearing black ones. Maybe they were blue.
And dark blue. It's
Yeah.
What is your goal and your dream now? Because that's what it was before.
To
What
win
is
the
it now?
CrossFit Games.
No. I think I have a lot of goals, like in every area.
Sure.
But I'd say my life mission is to help people be the healthiest versions of themselves.
Yeah.
So I do that first by being an example and being the healthiest version of myself. I do have big goals for competing in CrossFit, but it's more about like.
You want to share them?
No.
Okay.
It's
Off
too
camera.
soon.
Off camera.
Off camera. First of all, let's just get my shoulder working.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just about being a person of character that inspires other people, points them to Jesus,
Yeah.
helps them get healthier.
Yep.
So I think like as I've gotten older, like those kind of goals have gotten more broad because I realize like even if I think I know what it's gonna look like in 5-10 years from now, like
Yeah.
it's probably
It's
gonna be
gonna
so
change.
different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more of like the vision. I do want to start like a sports nutrition shake and smoothie shop.
That would be
But
dope.
I'm thinking start like in a food truck. So, you know, you come and after your workout or, you know, gotta have a drive through, but
Yeah.
stuff like BCAAs and creatine add-ins and like
Pretty dope.
protein shakes that are like whole foods.
I got the
and-
name already.
Oh man,
You know what it
what
is?
is it?
Buddy bottle?
No.
No.
That's ready to use.
Like Powder Queen.
Oh, Queen of Powder.
Queen of Powders.
Oh, that would be dope.
I was thinking
What's
like
the other food truck?
shake
Queen
it up or something.
There's another food truck.
No, seriously, Queen of Powders would be
Queen of
dope.
Queen of
Powders.
Powders? Does it sound like drugs?
Well, I mean, hey.
It's
If
kind of
it
like
sells.
It's a good, I mean, it's a good,
Gateway.
it's kind of like
eye catcher.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Huh.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a dream that I have.
That'd be dope.
I don't know when or how, but someday.
Stop it.
It'll happen. It'll
You
happen.
guys are popular.
I don't know.
Charge.
I think we should-
It's Hannah.
Wait, yeah.
Like, where are you?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. That's pretty much all we have.
Yeah. Thanks for
Guys, yeah.
coming and hanging out with us and share with people your journey,
Thanks
your
for having
experiences.
me. Love seeing you guys in the gym in the early morning. Special
Yeah,
place in
5
my
a.m.
heart.
crew.
You guys are super humble.
Friday a.m. mornings. Friday
From
a.m.
what I can see, you guys are gonna go far in the sport and in life. So
If I don't,
it's gonna be
if I
fun.
stop injuring myself, maybe.
Lord
Yeah,
willing.
I
seriously.
feel like every week I'm seriously it's stupid.
Just progression. You just gotta
I
like.
need to have better
It's
recovery.
easy to like, you know, like you said, you see this PRs and like, oh, you get ahead of yourself, but
Stop
like
right. I know.
to progress at a pace that you can maintain. And
You gotta have the
not
virtuosity
get
before the
injured.
intensity, right?
Ooh.
What was that?
Virtuosity before the intensity.
What does that word mean?
Doing nerd.
See, we're not. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we can say.
It's doing the common uncommonly well. So like, how good is your air squat? You know, before you're like, oh, I'm gonna squat 300 pounds.
Yep.
That's really good.
Get it.
Point.
There you have it. Do it.
Anyway,
squat.
Happy Flexy Friday.
Hopefully this
Flex.
is helpful to you guys.
Every day. Every day you should be flexing.
Flexing life.
Flexing life.
Faith, fitness, family.
We love you
Better
guys.
version of yourself.
Hopefully this has been helpful. We'll see you next week.
Love it.
Later. See ya.
I wish to like.
Peace out. True flex.
We're indoors though. We don't.
I'm flexing.
We can't flex though. 'Cause
Why not?
Kim
You
is
can't
your
flex
bicep
indoors?
Because it's like
It's huge.
it's covered.
It's huge.
This is big.
She's got bigger
That's as big
biceps.
as mine.
Let's see Jess's
That's
bicep. Jeez.
That's true.
Ah,
Rad.
you guys are fun.
Awesome.